Isn't life, isn't business a sport?
100%.
Isn't it about competing, winning,
100%.
losing, keeping score? Everybody keeps score.
Right.
Everybody keeps score. You may not keep your score, but somebody else is keeping your score. They're always looking. So when you're talking about relentless and we talk about sports, life is a sport. Okay, business is a sport. It's all about competitiveness. It's about being competitive. It's about winning. It's about helping. It's about succeeding. It's about failure. It's about success. That's everything you see in sports. That's what you see in life. That's what you see in business. Well, my dad, it was easier for my mom to get her license here as a nurse practitioner than it was for my dad to get his license as a doctor, all right, an MD, and he wasn't able to get the license. We still came over. We're sitting in the cab, and he's counting the money, and the meter gets to, I forget what the number was, and my dad tells the cab driver, stop.
And you're a little boy, right?
We're a little boy.
Yeah.
I was 4 years old. He said, stop. And we're like, what's going on? And my dad goes, hey, listen, we're in a new country. I want you to enjoy the scenery. So we get out, we grab all the luggage. Excuse me, I get real emotional doing this.
That's awesome.
And we're walking down the street. We're walking down the street with his luggage. And he's showing us a different scenery and so forth. Never knew he didn't have any more money in his pocket.
Wow. Amazing.
But he got us here. And there's moments like that that define you. As long as you remember them. They can define you both ways. You can look at it and say, you know what? You can use that as an excuse. My dad came to this country, he didn't have any money, he never gave me anything, he never did this, and people do that. Or you can look at it and say, he gave us everything. Well, it's just like, listen, you do whatever's necessary. Just because you have this kind of status somewhere else doesn't mean you're always going to have it. You're not always going to have it. And this minimum salary for everybody in here, my minimum salary when I started day one was $3.75.
Big bucks, okay.
Big dollars, okay? With a master's degree now, with a master's degree, all right? But what I was fortunate enough to understand is like, okay, even though I have the education and it's up in here, I haven't really learned or mastered my craft on how to apply it.
Wow, okay.
So get a job in a health club. Start training people in a health club. Everybody from women, children, overweight, by whatever they needed. Learned, made mistakes, figured things out, got my craft, got really honed in on understanding how the body moves, how to get results here, how to do this. But then I was like, I'm only using 10% of what I learned. I had so much knowledge in there. I was like, how can I do this? I want to apply it with athletes. So if you keep telling yourself something over and over again, all right, you start to believe it. But once you start to believe it, you got to figure out the path to make it happen. And most people, they'll tell themselves something, but then when they got to go through that path is not straight. Okay, usually that path goes down first.
Yes.
Okay, and I have a saying. I said, the road to paradise starts in hell.
Yeah,
it does. That's where it starts. People don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to deal with reality. Why? Because it's too tough. Everyone has the ability to change the story. When we were talking about coolers, closers, and cleaners, we talk about, hey, you talk about a cooler's an individual that loves to tell stories. They love to tell stories. All right, they're the
Everyone's picturing coolers right
so
now.
they got a stack of books on the shelf, and they read every self-help book. And 1 minute they're following this person on Instagram, and the next minute they're listening to somebody else. They're always looking for that quick fix. All right, cleaners have the ability to change the story. You know how difficult it is to change a story, but in order to change a story, you gotta put something on the line. People are afraid to put things on the line. You know what, when you look at, this is what, I say this, you know what the best friend becomes of a cleaner? Distance. Because you got to distance yourself from the competition. You end up distancing yourself from your friends. Sometimes you end up distancing yourself from your family. Okay? And that's what happened, because you start off in this small group with everybody, all right, and everyone's trying to do the same thing, and then now all of a sudden you've become a little bit more successful. So you've distanced yourself from the people that aren't successful. They're trying to come up, and then now you've taken another step, so you've gone a little farther. Now listen, nobody wants to miss their kids' events. Nobody, you don't want to miss the concert, you don't want to miss their sporting event, you don't want to do this, all right? It happens. Yeah. It happens. Yeah. It just does. So that distance, the more successful you come, you end up creating that distance. And it's funny, we idolize individuals. We want to sit here and we want to be part of the right clique, or we want to be part of the right fraternity, sorority. We make sure you get invited to the right party. Your kids have to be in this social group. And who's the people we idolize most? The ones that stand alone.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
That's the ones we idolize, are the ones that we stand alone. But yet you're so worrying about what this person says and what this person thinks. If you really, really think about it, look at your circle, look at your entourage, okay? You think they're helping you, okay? Majority of them are holding you back. When you spend more time here, so we're both workout guys. We like to go to the to the gym. All right. How many times have you seen people in the gym? They spend more time on their playlist, taking pictures, doing stuff instead of getting their workout done.
So true.
It's just like, and here's the thing, all right, you're a very intense person, I can tell,
right.
Okay? I'm a very intense person,
Yep.
All right? We value our time.
Yes.
Okay? How do you get results in the gym? It isn't about spending 2 to 3 hours working out. People say, I spent 3 hours. You didn't spend 3 hours. By the time you pulled into the parking lot, by the time you changed, got some breakfast, put your workout clothes on, talked to 8 people, did all that stuff, you were there for 3 hours. You did your 3 hours. No intensity. All right. People talk about, hey, you post a couple of workout things, you're seeing you're a buff guy, or you're in great shape. All right, people say, Ed, I want to look like you. All right. They don't see what it takes to look like you. Not only in the gym, outside of the gym. The intensity that's there. You're in the gym, and I'm assuming you work out with music. You had some headphones on. You got to get a certain amount of stuff done in a certain amount of time. Or you're in this intense stuff. Somebody comes up to you.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't want to be rude to them. So now you take your headphones off. They ask you a question. They want to take a picture with you. Oh, I recognize you from so and so. Right. And all right. And then the question is, how do I get to look like? Well, the one way you get to look like me is leave me there for long.
Stop asking me these questions. Exactly.
And start hitting the weight. Start lifting.
Yeah.
It's the intensity that you have. It has to be in everything you do. You have to be an intense person in your workouts. The way you eat. Okay, that's intensity. How do you fuel up your metabolism rate so you're burning these calories so you can get that definition? That's an intensity. How do you get to be successful? Oh man, he or she, he's so intense. No, you know what? He and she, that's how you're supposed to be. You're at a different level.
Right.
And that's why I said the intensity is so important. It's what really separates those individuals. And you can't get into that zone, and you can't get arms and abs like Ed. You can't do it unless you have that intensity and you're willing to block out the distractions. We have so much access now to information.
Yep.
It's literally at our fingertips. Everything, okay? Why are more individuals doing less?
You're right.
Because they're easily distracted.
Yep.